All right, everybody. Who is ready for some NXT? Here we go. May 13th, 2025. We've got NXT on the CW with a few interesting matchups tonight. We don't really have a full card going into tonight as we're getting a bit of a recap from last week of the 25-man battle royal that had the cameo from formerly Elias, but now Elijah in NXT on loan from TNA. And tonight we're going to have Obafemi versus Charlie Dempsey. By the way, excuse me, Miles Bourne taking that battle royal, surprisingly, but the crowd's super behind it as we're getting recap clips. And Charlie Dempsey got eliminated pretty quickly from that battle royal. Dempsey did, but he has incurred the wrath of Obafemi this week. And then we're going to have Wesley versus Tony D'Angelo, and of course a contract signing between Joe Hendry and Trick Williams tonight as well. Sure, we'll have plenty of other action to look forward to with the great NXT talent. But it's good to have you guys here tonight. Thanks so much for being here. Dawsey, glad you're here, man. Welcome to the chat. And we are still getting our recap from tonight. So if we have a few more moments of quiet from me this evening, I don't know if you can tell from last week or previous weeks, but I'm dealing with a little bit of a sore throat tonight. So we're going to find out how much I can dig deep and go through tonight's broadcast. So thanks for sticking with me. I've got my R2T2, if you will, to help me get through the evening, and we're going to have a good time. So welcome to NXT. Crowd is up and at 'em, ready to go tonight. Let's see who starts off. Miles Bourne is coming out. Miles Bourne, our Battle Royal winner, the number one contender to the NXT Championship, making his way down to ringside, dressed like early Evolution Randy Orton. Dress shirt and slacks. You know what? No Quarter Catch crew is they're growing on me. I've always liked Ren Sinclair, even before she joined them. She had a lot of she's got a lot of fire. Miles Bourne, I did not know much about, and he's getting better and better. He's got a great charm about him. Charlie Dempsey, of course, is a Regal, so you know, he's got great things in his future. Well, we're getting a promo from Miles. Okay, and Miles is feeling himself. There's an LFG logo on the mic that he's using. That's different. Miles, calling attention to the fact that he's partially deaf, but he said, I could still hear you going crazy.
I'm facing a dominant champion. But I'm fighting for all the kids out there who are struggling, fighting their own fight.
Miles says, judge me by my ability, not by my disability.
But Demi, I hope you're listening. Because last week they didn't give me a shot, but look what happened. May 25th, they're not giving me a shot. And I'm ready to shock the world again. I might be hard of hearing, but in Battleground, I will hear wrong. And now me, Miles Boy, your new, the NXT champion.
It's inspiring. I like Miles Bourne. You know, I want to get behind him. I mean, anybody who's matched up against Obafemi, it's kind of like people matching up against Cena right now. It's hard to believe. Miles Bourne has been interrupted by Ethan Page. Ethan Page getting booed pretty strongly, pretty loudly. The NXT crowd is chanting at Ethan Page. Miles can't hear you. Ethan Page saying, you can't beat Obafemi. The crowd chanting, you can't either. Oh. Ethan Page is trying to goad Miles Bourne into putting the contendership on the line.
Better way to learn to go toe-to-toe with a former NXT champion.
Hey, David. Welcome to the chat.
This is going to be the perfect fight for you. Think about it. Iron.
Charlie Dempsey is trying to goad Miles Bourne into taking the match, too. Welcome to the chat, Super Crunk Skunk. Okay. So we have a one-on-one match, Miles Bourne versus Ethan Page for the number one contendership. But here comes Ava to interrupt things. Did we really need Ava to come out and say it's official? Okay. All right. Ava said Charlie Dempsey's match starts now. All right. So we're going to have, thank you, Super Crunk Skunk. It has taken a little time to accumulate over time, but I appreciate that. Enjoy the variety of titles accumulated over the course of my life. But so we got Obafemi taking on Charlie Dempsey right now. Curious who you guys have predicted for that match tonight. And then we get Miles Bourne defending his number one contendership against Ethan Page later on tonight as well. And just letting everybody know, welcome to Marked by Wrestling. We try to stay positive here and just enjoy the show together, find the things that we like. The internet wrestling community has enough things to be dissatisfied and disappointed about, so we just let them have their corner. But as it stands right now, we do have, excuse me, we are still trying to get some more support for the channel. So if you are here and wanting to help us get to super chat status, you can always donate down below. We're happy to accept that as we're coming along trying to make good content here at Marked by Wrestling. But yeah, so we are back on now. Obafemi and Charlie Dempsey here tonight. So let's see. Crowd is a little all right. So anyways, we are here. So Obafemi and Charlie Dempsey kicking off the show. If you're just joining us, we're gonna have Ethan Page challenging for the #1 contendership against Miles Bourne later on in the show. We also have Wes Lee and Tony D'Angelo one-on-one, and a contract signing between Trick Williams and Joe Hendry for the TNA title coming up later this month. Just about 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks at Battleground, coming from Tampa. So hope everybody's doing well this evening. Don't know what's going on in everybody's world, but curious how what everybody thought of Raw last night. I thought it was a stable episode of Raw. Didn't feel particularly, I don't know, didn't feel like a landmark episode to me. Just felt kind of, I don't want to even call it average, but just, run of the mill. I guess, yeah, average. Felt like an average episode. Nothing particularly bad happened, but nothing particularly noteworthy seemed to happen either. So we'll see where that comes into play, in the future for future episodes of Raw while Oba and Charlie here are exchanging wrist locks right now. So curious what we get from the tag division tonight with Hank and Tank. Dark State makes an appearance. Also, there's been zero advertising for the women's division tonight, which is rare. Usually we get a little bit of a tease of either, Sol Ruka or, Jordan Grace, Julia, Roxanne Perez, all these, Jada Parker, all these people. So we'll see how we go from there. At least the last time I checked, they had not announced anything. Hey, Sophie Dophie, good to see you. Glad you could be here tonight with us. Did I hear that Jessica Jones will be part of Daredevil Born Again Season 2? I read that about an hour or two ago. Very interested in that. I'm curious what that will look like in the Disney Plus Daredevil world. Although I really enjoyed Daredevil Born Again, it felt pretty close to the Netflix series. But yeah, so I'm excited to see her part of it. Who I really want to see is Luke Cage, though. Out of that Netflix world, we've already got Punisher in there. But I really want to see Luke Cage join up, even if it's just for a cameo episode or something. He doesn't have to be. We don't have to recreate the Defenders in Daredevil Born Again, but I would at least like to have that interaction take place. So, but we'll see what happens. I know they're already shooting for season 2. I've seen a couple of screenshots of Daredevil's suit and stuff, and it looks pretty entertaining. So meanwhile, Charlie Dempsey's in control. He's got a arm lock and a leg lock on at the same time. He's got Oba grounded, and you don't see this very much from Obafemi. So let me just catch up a little bit. Sean Swabies, good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining us tonight for NXT. Sophie, I have not seen Thunderbolts yet. I actually had I actually had planned to go. So I'm an AMC A-list subscriber. I'd planned to go, I want to say 2 weeks ago on like the release day, but I ended up having to go to the doctor instead, and so everything's fine. But it ended up just kind of messing with my plans, so it was a bummer. Justin, good to see you. Um, you find you find that Daredevil darker than Netflix. Interesting. I'd I think they're comparable, but that's fair. I'll give you that. Justin, the Miles Bourne opened the show with a promo after they recapped the Battle Royal from last week, and he cut. I mean, he cut a good babyface promo. The crowd was totally behind him. A lot of acknowledgement about his disability, and he's like, saying, "Judge me by my ability, not by my disability." And in all that, Ethan Page interrupted him. I should say that all of No Quarter Catch crew was there. Ethan Page interrupted him, challenged him for his number one contendership, and Charlie Dempsey kind of like prodded Miles Bourne to accept it. And so, anyway, so I guess our main event tonight is going to be Miles Bourne and Ethan Page. Ava has already signed off on it. So his number one contendership is on the line tonight. So we'll see where it goes from there. But we also have Wesley and Tony D'Angelo. We've also got a contract signing between Trick Williams and Joe Hendry. So we'll see what happens. I was saying just as we started the show, I don't know that they've advertised anything for the women's division tonight, which is really rare, that we don't have anything already pen on paper to look forward to. I'm sure they'll give us something good, though, because that division cooks. So, all right, let's catch up again. By the way, Mark by Wrestling, dealing with a little bit of a sore throat tonight. So if you would indulge me while I sip some tea, just try to keep this guy under control so I still have a voice to give you the show tonight. All right, Sophie, well, I'm happy to hear that Thunderbolts left a positive impact on you, because I haven't hated the I haven't hated anything in the MCU, but they definitely had some low points in the past few years, and so I was really had high hopes for Thunderbolts because I love that cast, and I think if you ever get an ensemble cast together that has good chemistry with each other on screen, you're gonna have a good time. Thoughts on Jay versus Gunther taking place on the Raw after Money in the Bank and not Money in the Bank? That doesn't bother me at all. I'm one of the bigger proponents of this 5-match PLE structure that Triple H has been implementing outside of WrestleMania and SummerSlam lately. Because it makes the go home shows feel, or the show after, feel more important to me. So I like the idea that there's a better, I like the idea that there's already a world. And also I like the idea, I've said that 4 times in a row, I'm sorry, that we already know who's got next as a contender. They don't do that much anymore. They used to do that for quite a while, way back in the old days, of already establishing a number one contender before a title match. So it's refreshing to revisit that. We got a pop-up powerbomb from Obafemi, who had his comeback and then just kind of had his way with Charlie Dempsey. Charlie had a good showing for the first half of the match, but then fell apart. Oba is just overwhelming. He's overwhelming, if you will. Can't help myself. Sorry. And Oba, the ruler, is victorious. I would, if I can borrow a line from my boy A, Sophie, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I do think at NXT, the women should be on TV every week. It's fine if they're not advertised. But I totally think the women's division is the best. I think it's the best top to bottom women's division in WWE. So they would need to be on Raw every week. And now we've got Carmen and Thea Hale walking together. This was earlier today. It's crashing out. Somebody just throw a dollhouse? What is that? they are making a storyline out of Tatum losing Gigi and Shotzi to the releases. I love that. I mean, I don't love it for Shotzi and for Gigi, but I love the fact that they have recognized she is alone now. She's crashing out, and she seemed to run afoul of Thea Hale in that interaction. Didn't recognize Tatum right away, but yeah, she's losing her mind because she's lost her only friends. As Tony D'Angelo makes his entrance to face off against Wes Lee, I think this could be an entertaining match tonight. Sophie, it's a better version of Suicide Squad. How would you compare Thunderbolts to Guardians of the Galaxy, given that that's also kind of a ragtag group of misfits as well? So we're getting an ad for Evolve. Jay didn't have that many heels on Raw after Gunther. Au contraire. He's got Seth Rollins, he's got Braun Breaker, he's got Logan Paul, and Gunther. Yeah, I mean, I think there's plenty to work with there. And I don't particularly, and two things too about sort of forecasting the booking for WWE right now. One, there's still a lot of buzzing about the draft coming up, and the draft usually does come before SummerSlam when they choose to do that. So we may have a draft soon that could shake up some of his contenders. And also, I'm of the mindset that I don't think Jay will be champion after SummerSlam. I do think, this is just my opinion, but I think he was probably, he was so over. They created a good moment at WrestleMania, and I think they'll give him a polite run with the title. So, yeah. So anyways, I think that'll be all right. Yeah, Sophie. So that's the whole thing, with Money in the Bank being before the Jay Gunther or whoever Gunther. I mean, it could be Gunther or Logan Paul. I doubt it, but so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so I think having it on that Raw brings more eyeballs to Raw for that night, and also brings a little more intrigue into whatever happens at Money in the Bank. So let's see here. So Dawsey said, I really hope they update the way the draft is done in a more interesting way. I agree, Dawsey. I wish, I really wish is that they added stakes to the Survivor Series. I had mentioned this before that, like, in War Games, or have some winner take all, main event elimination match like they used to, and have the winners of those match either get like premium Royal Rumble numbers, or yeah, they could be something in the draft, like maybe they could choose what show they want to go to, or they could be immune from being drafted or something. I feel like that would be fun if they could be. I agree. I think they could be more creative with the draft. I am curious. I do think the presentation of the draft will look better this year if they choose to do it, since they keep leaning into this authentic sports presentation like they've had with all the TKO influence lately. Everything, like the beginning of Raw looks more like, NFL Countdown, or seeing the performers show up to the building for the day, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Timmy Rowe. Okay. Timmy, I think this is a valid question. Does anybody know what's going on with CW second weekend in a row? I can't watch. It's been interrupted by baseball. Timmy, first of all, thanks for coming to the chat. I think that, I think it's got to do with your local market, I'm guessing, because I'm actually using it on Netflix, which is another discussion altogether. But they're using it on CW, though, is a little tough depending on where you are, because you could get blacked out for local sports or local events and stuff sometimes, which is a downside to NXT being on CW. That doesn't really happen so much. Well, it happens with AEW because of their contracts with the NBA and stuff, but for basketball. But it doesn't happen as much anymore. Well, it definitely doesn't happen now that Raw's on Netflix, but when it used to be on USA, sometimes you would see it happen for the dog show and all that other kind of stuff. Sean, you didn't expect Jay to be champion after Backlash. That's fair. Okay, I hear the Saturday night's main event music, so I'm sure they're about to advertise that. Yeah. Okay. So Justin Howling Crane asking, okay, hold on for a second, Justin. I'll be right back. I'm putting your question up though.
Possibly we could pick this up later, but it's not right now. It's a championship match. A battleground that desperately needs all ego in it. So I can win the championship. And afterwards, we start balancing in NXT. So you can go back to playing second fiddle to me.
A little backstage, back and forth between Ricky Saints and Ethan Page. I kind of thought they were done. I'm not sure exactly why, but Justin, I think Jeff Cobb's probably going to face LA Knight first. That would be my guess. Okay, so I was reading today that WWE just trademarked the phrase "the high rise," which appears to be the name of Wesley and Tyreek and Tyson's group. Yeah, Timmy, Raw is on NXT's on Netflix internationally. So if you have a way to watch it internationally, if you have the means to do that, that's an option. All right, so Wesley, Tavion, and Tyson are now known as the High Rise. So RYZE, because of course. And Tony does not have any of the family with him. I mean, we know Stax has betrayed him. We know Luca's not around, and Rizzo is in hiding. All kayfabe, of course. Yes, thank you, Dossie, with a VPN. Tony D'Angelo has been in NXT for a long time. He is I wonder if he'll be a lifer. Wesley is such a cruiserweight. He tried to do a headlock takeover, and Tony wouldn't even let him go down. I gotta admit, I'm not super. I hope these gentlemen bring the heat tonight because the crowd's paying attention, but they're not quite as vocal. Okay, Enziguri from Wesley wakes crowd up a little bit. This matchup was a little haphazardly, randomly made last week. I gotta say, some of Tony's offense is real heavy on the strength of his back, and he's been nursing a back injury for a number of weeks. But I guess he's more 100%. All right, so we're getting Thea Hale and Tatum Paxley tonight as well. So we'll see what happens here. All right, let's catch up again. Sophie Dophie, your thoughts on WWE having PLEs or big events every 2 weeks from each other? Yeah, I don't love that. I feel like having WrestleMania so late in the month of April really did them in for the early summer because it just feels relentless, and they haven't really had a lot of time to build things. So there we go. Sophie, I'm not the only one who loves the women's division on NXT. I'm far from the only one. So I'd rather see Thea Hale and Tatum Paxley than this match right now, to be honest. I mean, no disrespect to Tony and Wes. I think they're great. Just think the women are better performers. But we also might be getting Evolution sometime in July, so I can see why they might tone it down a little bit, healing them up for it. Oh, my gosh. Tony D'Angelo jumping off the apron and takes down all of High Rise, topples the High Rise together. Teflon Don, so good to see you, friend. Greetings from the original Modfather. Hope all is well and how's the family feeling? Well, we are, so there's been a little bit of a flu bug going through the house, which is tough. I am not immune from it myself. I'm drinking my, forgive my dad jokes, but my R2T2 here tonight. To try to keep my throat in live streaming shape. We'll see if I can come out and emerge victorious in that battle tonight. So if you could see Tony D getting called up. Yeah, I mean, he could. He certainly put in the time. But I just don't know. I'm just curious where he'd fit in on the main roster. Why don't you guys tell me? Oh, shout out to Tyrell Breed. Good to see you, Tyrell. Thank you so much for being here. Didn't want to miss you there. All right, you guys tell me. Tony D'Angelo, you're Triple H. You call him up. Tell me what show you put him on and tell him what's the first feud you put him in. Do you try to recreate the family, give him a new faction? Do you make him a solo act? Do you put him in a tag team? Tell me what you guys would do with Tony D'Angelo, because honestly, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I'd have to take some time to think about it, but I'd love to know what you guys would do with Tony D'Angelo if he got the call up to the main roster. Wes Lee coming down. Wes Lee, he will be a lot of fun on the main roster one of these days as well when he gets there. Anthony, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. I'll wave back at you. Yeah, Sean, I mean, I think the purpose is to move up to the main roster, but also, I don't want to wish this on anybody, but I certainly hope he doesn't get cut either. I just he's not a bad performer. I mean, most of the people who got cut this last round weren't bad performers either. But I'm just curious now that he's been turned on by Stacks. What is there for him? Because the rest of the family's not even there either. Teflon Don, speaking my language, man. I wouldn't want him to move to the main roster and get lost in the roster and stuck in catering. Exactly. That's what I'm afraid would happen. Sean, 100% true on this. Chase U is an NXT act, and I am totally okay with Andre Chase staying in NXT for longer than most to perpetuate that act and just cycle people through Chase U instead. That's how I feel about that. Sophie said they confirmed John Cena's final match to take place in Boston at the end of the year. Well, thank goodness one of my John Cena fantasy booking ideas is going to come true. I also suggested that his last match would take place in Boston. I did say it was a PLE, though. I'm not sure if it's going to be a PLE or a Saturday night's main event or what, but yeah. We have 9 Lucha Underground wrestlers on WWE roster, Justin. Wow, I didn't realize there were that many. I mean, I guess when you think about it, because I know like EO and Chelsea and so, not just the Latin American wrestlers. There are other ones too. So yeah, wow, that's wild. There have been some talent that have been in NXT for a really long time before they got called up. That's true. I mean, I think about DIY before they were permanently called up. I mean, they got a couple of test runs, but they were in NXT for a long time. I'm trying to think of others, but there have been a few, yeah, that were there for a while. Wes was talking trash, but now he's got a goozle from Tony D. Headbutt him. Tony throwing headbutts. And man, what a bump by Wesley. He just crumpled against the ropes and fell out of the ring all by himself. Crazy stuff. Man, Tony is handling Tyson and Tyreek outside. They are not that intimidating in this match, at least. High rise is a little low rent, if you know what I'm saying. Wesley tried to get a roll up with the feet on the ropes, only got 2. Super kick drops Tony D to his knees. And caught off the ropes. Overhead belly to belly by Tony. Yeah, Julia had one of the quickest call ups ever from NXT for sure. Oh, Sophie, you just now saw the Daredevil Born Again finale. Okay. What did you think of it? JR, welcome to the chat, friend. Glad you could be here. Man, another belly to belly down by Tony D. And here we go again. Now a German suplex. Hey, buddy. Sorry, saying hi to my channel mascot who decided to come say hi. He's a little shy, though. Kevin Owens also got a quick call up. Yeah, that's true. All right, only a 2 count. This match continues. Yeah, Sophie, that finale of Daredevil Born Again was probably, yeah, I think there was a scene or two that exceeded the violence of the Netflix version, which is wild. Pop-up powerbomb attempt reversed into a Hurricane Rana by Wes Lee. And that kick to the back of the head, roundhouse kick to the back of the head. All right. Rebounding off the ropes. Wow. Tony speared him out of a moonsault. It was a little slow motion for me, but still a creative, fun spot there. Uh-oh. Stax Lorenzo is somewhere in the Florida suburbs. I can tell by the type of house. Oh, and he turns around into a Pele kick. That's 3. Wes Lee wins with the Stax video distraction. Oh, he's found Rizzo in witness protection. But like Tony, he's standing outside her house, dude. You're not going to get there fast enough. Oh my goodness. Well, Stephanie McVicar here, La Primera, and she is showing off. Okay, let's see. Hey, George. Hey, George. Glad you could join us, man. You've been in my prayers, dude. Hope today wasn't any harder than it needed to be for you. But welcome to NXT. Be glad to catch you up in a second if you haven't been watching. Gonna catch up here with a couple of comments and we'll get back to you, man. Teflon Don dropping the wisdom here. To be honest, I don't think no one from NXT should move up right now. Triple H doesn't even know how to book the talent he has now. Woo! Well, I will say this. I don't fully blame Triple H. I think there is it really, like, right now feels like we're in some sort of massive holding pattern. And one of the things that I think I almost feel like Triple H didn't account for so many acts getting over so well at the same time. Like Jey Uso, super over. Jacob Fatu, super over. LA Knight, super over. Braun Breaker, super over. But all these guys, not all those guys are ready to be at the top of the card yet. And I mean, Gunther, super over. And then you have to start making decisions, what's going to happen. So I do think, it looks like Triple H is going to be calling up Roxy and Julia. I hope they're handled well. I think Roxy has a ton of potential as a heel. I think she has the capacity to be, and this is no disrespect, but like an upgraded version of Liv Morgan, in like kind of the intensity of her character, but also like she's a good wrestler. She's a good wrestler in the ring, and Liv has improved leaps and bounds over the past year and a half as well. So there's a lot of good things to pull from there. But so I think there is a little bit of a thing going on now where there's just a lot of good talent, and it almost feels like Triple H doesn't want to fully commit to deciding, like, let's say SmackDown's tag division. Like it's almost like he doesn't want to commit and say, okay, the Street Profits are our guys for this tag division. It feels like maybe he's starting to say that about Jacob Fatu with the U.S. title. But there is there's not a lot of dominance. And so in some weeks, that's actually really intriguing when you're building to a show. But after that show happens, then it's kind of like, well, now what do you do? So there are pros and cons, but I would still take this current iteration over what we got out of in 2019 and 2020. And so Roxy does wrestle bigger than she is. Man, Sophie, this one hurts for real. She asked, do you think they'll revisit the Roxy Bailey feud that they dropped out of nowhere? I don't know that they will. Well, I mean, they might in the future, but I don't think that I don't think that they'll have a callback to their earlier feud. If they do, I feel like they'll just start from scratch if they do it over again. Because when Bailey comes back, it seems like she'll have her eyes set on Becky, which she should. And Roxy has been hanging out with Finn Balor a little bit backstage in the back corners of other people's segments. So it seems like maybe there's something there going on. So they might cross paths again, and I hope they do, because I think they could put on some good matches. But I don't think it's going to be immediate. I think Bailey's got some business with Becky, and then Roxy will do something else. Sean says there's some content creators out there who just do not like the book of Triple H, or possibly they just don't like Triple H at all. Listen, I used to joke with my friends that I thought Triple H was like the Ben Affleck of professional wrestling. I was just kind of about him in front of the camera, but I love his work behind the camera. Ben Affleck's a fantastic director, and he's a decent actor, but I would never call him my favorite. So anyway, all that to say, there are some people just sour about Triple H, either because they're tribalistic and they love AEW or New Japan or Ring of Honor or something else too much. But he's been doing a really good job. He's not perfect, and no booker ever has been. But he's doing a very good job. He took what was a very difficult situation and has managed the transition really well. And so I'm hoping that he's able to continue that soon. But yeah, man, there are people who just take those ridiculous takes and go from there just to get your clicks. And listen, any opinion I give you is going to be my actual opinion. But I'm also not an incendiary person, so I'm not going to scream at the camera. Definitely not tonight. But I'm not doing all that to try to get myself over with internet wrestling fans. Like I'm here to be a part of the community, and I'm here to find the things that we can find joy in, because man, this world is hard enough to hold on to the joy in our lives some days. So wrestling can be a place where we do that instead of be miserable. OTM giving us more promos again. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about OTM. I mean, they're definitely seem more aggressive about that, about their presentation now than before. They're a little less passive. Maybe, I mean, once they get in the ring, we'll find out. Sophie, what are you talking about? People were mad when Triple H took over creative. People were doing cartwheels and celebrating in the streets. I don't remember people being mad of Triple H taking over at all. Because, like, WrestleMania 40 was like one of the most celebrated events, kind of crowning him and stuff. If anything, I think people are just starting to now kind of have the bloom coming off the rose a little bit, but I don't remember that at all. Okay, the women's champion is in the ring. Dark Angel is here tonight. And let's see what she has to say. La Primera chance. She's talking about Jordan Grace being the new number one contender.
And now she wants to accent the top of NXT.
Crowd's pretty quiet.
Yo te quiero decir algo, Jonah. Y te lo voy a decir en español.
Huh. It's interesting. I mean, I have no idea how much of this fatal influence is here as they're coming out. I don't know how much of this was planned, but Stephanie seemed to almost lose herself there in that promo. She was very quiet, and the crowd was very quiet too. And then she just stopped, took a breath, and started cutting the rest of the promo in Spanish, and the crowd woke right up. Now, she got interrupted immediately, but that's an interesting pivot. Fallon Henley and JC Jane here, I believe.
You truly are one of a kind. But you see, that's exactly what's going to make your downfall that much sweeter. Sure, you were the infamous
I do not care about fatal influence. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just not feeling well tonight, but I don't care about Fallon Henley. Fallon Henley and JC Jane are both just kind of doing 2010 diva voice right now. This like mean girl character. It's so ridiculous. I don't know if Jasmine got released. I don't know where Jasmine is, but you know what? I don't like to dunk on anybody, but if she got released, I remember we were talking about that video of her and her boyfriend making fun of a disabled guy at Epcot Center or whatever. If that's what happened, good on them. Oh, here comes Jordan Grace. Here comes the siren. I wonder if we're going to end up with a tag team match next week. Where's Teddy Long when you need him? Sophie, it's interesting you asked this question. Do you think HBK was getting ready to say goodbye to some of the talent in NXT whenever they do get called up? I think that's precisely why he had Metaphor break up on TV. I think he gave them that moment knowing that the releases were coming to Jakara Jackson and to Oro Mensah. I mean, it's just a conspiracy theory, but I think he did that to give them as much of a proper send-off as they could have. Just my theory. Gigi Dolan wrestling her husband. Oh, I didn't know her and Zach Wentz were married. Interesting. Ooh.
We were here in NXT holding this women's division down. And now we're the ones that deserve to be at the top of it. And although we usually don't like newbies, I will say, at least give her opportunities and make them worth it. Jordan failed last time, and she will fail again. Stephanie, a lot of growth.
I'm ready for this segment to be over. This might be the first time I've ever said that. I don't know why Fatal Influence is out here. This will not even be on the marked moment poll tonight on the channel. Teflon Don, I don't play that either, man. I have a brother as well. And no, I don't play that at all. Like, I'm so glad I was not there live in person to see that happen, because it would have gotten ugly. Would have gotten ugly for sure. I will say, yeah, I do think, Anthony proposes this, that when Joe Hendry beats Trick Williams, that they'll call him up. I will tell you this. I think part of this talent partnership has 100%. Charlie Dempsey still suffering the beating from Obafemi. I think 100% this TNA partnership is all about WWE locating new talent and bringing them over. I mean, they did that with Jordan Grace. I absolutely think Joe Hendry will be a permanent part of the WWE roster sometime soon. The fact that they gave him a WrestleMania slot against Randy Orton should tell you all you need to know about how they view him and also the response he got. So, barring any major injuries or character issues, which Joe Hendry seems like one of the nicest dudes there is in wrestling right now. He actually has a interview with Chris Van Vliet that was uploaded today, I believe, or sometime this week. And yeah, just seems like a genuine good human being. And so they absolutely want somebody like him, I'm sure, to be part of the face of WWE eventually. I'm just curious to what degree, that we use him, because he's honestly, hear me out, I'm not talking about his in-ring ability or necessarily, but I think when it comes to his presentation and how well he is at public appearances and stuff, he absolutely could be a European John Cena. Yeah, I mean, so I think he could actually, or a European Cody, if you will. Like, he could absolutely carry a torch for that part of the world. And if you're paying attention, WWE is continuing to expand around the globe. So don't think that they're just building up American Codys from now on. Like, I think they're trying to identify faces of the company all around the world. You can tell they've been trying to do that to, I wouldn't say replace, but find a successor for Rey Mysterio for a long time. Penta could be one of those guys. Joe Hendry could be one of those guys. Julia could be one of those ladies. I mean, Vaquer, we're already seeing a little bit of that at the NXT level with Stephanie Vaquer. So, like, we saw her go back to Chile and represent with her people and stuff. So I'm not surprised at all if they will do that. Will they buy Impact? Now that I don't know. I'm not sure if because the thing with WCW, it was just worth it to buy WCW to have their tape library, to have all their archives and their access to their old matches and stuff like that. So I think it could be fun. Fun sounds, that's kind of a callous word to say. I want to take that back. It could be interesting if they were to pursue that route. What that would have to do, like, would they keep Impact operating or not? I mean, because honestly, the Impact Zone operates out of Orlando, just like NXT. So honestly, I could see them merging facilities and doing that. I don't know. I mean, I don't really want them to. I like that TNA recognizes how big they are as a company and don't seem to like. There doesn't seem to be a lot of bad blood when one of their homegrown stars grows and ascends to a certain level, that they're okay with them leaving to go to WWE. I like that they have a humility about them in that. But yeah, I absolutely do wish Impact had regular TV time somewhere. Like, and trying to find them on TV is a chore. So I don't ever watch them on TV. I always end up watching them through just through other means. Undertaker and Bubba are here. Tyra May Steele and Xena Sterling from LFG. Surely they got to bring Tyra May Steele up. I mean, I only watched that first episode, but man, she's a legit Olympian, man. And she's got a great personality. Who's here? Izzy Dame and Nikita Lyons. Oh my. Oh, there's Lash. And Lola Vice. Okay. Tony D's leaving the building. He's got a cameraman coming with him, as you do. Sophie Duffy, they are starting Money in the Bank qualifiers next week, so they have enough time to build to both matches. Yeah, they absolutely do. They put 2 qualifiers a night on each show. Wouldn't be a then you'll have the ladder match booked in 2 weeks. Yes, George. Adriana's in trouble. So what's up, Pretty Richie? Here. Good to see you, man. Yeah, Adriana, so Stax showed up on video during the Tony D'Angelo Wes Lee match, basically threatening that he had discovered where she was hiding and was going to get her. So, but now we got Miles Bourne and Ethan Page. Who you guys got? This is for Miles Bourne's #1 contendership. Will they crush the hopes and dreams of everyone after that opening promo? I mean, after Miles Bourne gave that promo, surely Miles Bourne has got this one. All right, baby Randy. Let's see what we got. Okay. People here for Miles. Yeah, Sophie, they're going to Saudi once. They're doing a Night of Champions there over the summer. Sophie, I did not hear about Jeff Cobb's travel day on Saturday. What happened there? Traveled everywhere before he showed up at Backlash. Oh. On purpose or by accident? Let's go. Miles Chance coming up from the NXT crowd. Okay. Teflon Don, what you got to say, my friend? Can't wait to see these individuals get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Randy, I'm assuming you mean Orton, Rey Mysterio, the Hardys, John Cena, and most underrated wrestler, D'Lo Brown. You looking at the real deal now? Yeah, Ray is in there most recently. I've got to wonder. We need the holy trinity of head shaking and pointing. We got D'Lo with the fingers out. We got EO with the fingers in. Now we need to find a third wrestler who can do that taunt in a different way. I just think we need a third one. I don't know if John Cena will go in right away next year, but he's absolutely going in. Okay, so we are getting Jordan Grace and Stephanie Vaquer against Fatal Influence later on tonight in a tag team match. Can they coexist? Stephanie and Jordan taking on each other for the NXT Championship at Battleground. When do I think Bray Wyatt will finally go in the Hall of Fame? Now, that's a good question. I mean, I think they've got a good opportunity any year to put him in. I think next year would actually be a really good opportunity to do it because you could rebuild the Wyatt storyline going into next WrestleMania. Next WrestleMania is in New Orleans, where he fought Cena, but that's where Bray had his first WrestleMania. Was it WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans? And that whole original Wyatt family gimmick was very kind of like Evil Bayou stuff. So I think next year being in New Orleans would be an excellent opportunity to put him in. All right. Well, Miles Bourne sends Ethan Page to the outside. And looks like we're going to a break. Yeah, AJ Styles probably didn't have as many years left until he retires. Pretty Richie, absolutely right. Listen, Miles is going to be special. I think, he needs probably some more time in NXT. I hope they don't bring him up too soon. But he could absolutely make a good impact on the main roster if they take their time with him, and he, continues to improve in the ring. But it is uncanny how he's got that 2009 Orton look right now. Yeah, Baby Randy. We love Baby Randy here at Marked by Wrestling. Do you think The Rock will mention Triple H whenever he goes into the Hall of Fame? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what Rock and Triple H's relationship is, man. It's weird. I know it's weird. Like, they have like a much more like PG version of the Brett and Shawn relationship, it feels like. And they may not, fully resolve things until they're both like mega old. We'll see what happens. I don't particularly care when The Rock goes in the Hall of Fame. But because I was at the 2008 Hall of Fame when it was Ric Flair's year, and Rock like took over so much of the show because they put in his dad and his grandfather in, and he did a whole stand-up bit at the beginning of the show, and it was interesting how the 2008 Hall of Fame was kind of a Rock and Triple H show, because you had Rocky Johnson and the High Chief Peter Maivia and Rock being there for that. But you also had like Gordon Soley and Jack and Jerry Briscoe and Ric Flair, who are all like, that's so like Triple H's like history of stuff he loved coming up as a fan. And so it was like two different, man, yeah, it's like two different worlds like merging together in that one show. It was kind of wild. Um, will they actually give? I assume you mean Miles Bourne, Sophie, the championship. I don't think Miles is going to beat Obafemi probably, but I do think that he will get a really good underdog match with Obafemi. I feel like they'll try to make a star out of Miles Bourne in that match. We'll see what happens though. Sophie, if we get Goldberg versus Gunther at Night of Champions and SummerSlam and Goldberg wins, imagine the riot. Here's my feeling about Goldberg. Goldberg, I don't think Goldberg needs a retirement match in WWE. Like if I was in charge, I'd say nah, we're good. Unless you want to beat, Finn Balor or JD McDonough or something. No disrespect to those guys, but like I don't want Gunther in the ring with him, unless Gunther's going to beat him. Because in all likelihood, everything I'm hearing is that Gunther. All that I'm hearing is telling me that Goldberg only has one match left in him. So now you have to decide if Goldberg's only going to come and wrestle for you one more time. Is he going to win that match or is he going to lose that match? And if Goldberg's going to win that match, then whoever he's wrestling is not getting a rematch against them. And after what Gunther has been through, I absolutely do not with Jey Uso, which I was fine with, by the way. But at this point, with him bouncing from Jey Uso to Pat McAfee, I do not want Gunther wrestling Goldberg unless Goldberg's going to lose. And I just don't think Goldberg's going to lose his retirement match. I don't think he wants to come back to lose to somebody. I think he wants to come back and go out on top. And like, I don't care, dude. You came back. You came back. You had multiple comeback matches. And like, honestly, I even forgotten about his multiple comebacks as a Stinger Splash from Miles Bourne. Okay. And then is that an angle slam? Okay. Miles Bourne going for the cover, and that's a 2 count. Goldberg, in my mind, retired after that last run with Brock Lesnar when he beat him, in 80 seconds or whatever at Survivor Series. He eliminated him out of the Royal Rumble, and then they had that like all finishers WrestleMania match. Like I know Goldberg came back multiple times after that, and I never remember them. I do not remember anything about his run after that, where he beat those guys, where he beat the Fiend and he beat Kevin Owens and stuff. So I don't want Gunther anywhere near Goldberg because I'm assuming if Goldberg does come back, he has to win, and I don't want Gunther losing to Goldberg if he's not going to get a rematch, and he won't. So yeah, I'm not for it. I think I saw another question. How did I feel when John Cena put R-Truth through a table? The act of Cena putting Truth through a table was great. I like how it happened. Well, I like how there was one really big thing I didn't like about it, and it's that it happened at the press conference. I feel like they kind of wasted that moment because that could have been something that really could have turned the crowd on Cena finally, but they just used it for a viral moment. And so I was disappointed that they chose to do that outside of the crowd. But I thought it was a great execution. I would have done everything the same way except have it in the ring. Or have it in front of the crowd. Okay, Miles Bourne takes it with a jackknife roll up. Ethan Page was starting to out wrestle him there, faking him out on multiple moves, but Miles Bourne takes the win. Yeah, so it looks like some of us agree on that Cena Truth thing. But now Miles Bourne has solidified his number one contender status. Will be taking on Obafemi May 25th at Battleground. Sean Legacy from Evolve who had a strong showing in that battle royal, is calling out Javon Evans. By the way, speaking of Javon Evans, does anybody, any of y'all see him call Tony Khan a crackhead on Twitter? You know they took his phone. They took his phone after that. I wouldn't mind seeing Javon Evans and Sean Legacy at Battleground. Just had Ashanti in the background. Javon Evans told Ashanti to worry about his pickup lines.
I like to see that. You know, like Ethan, I'm not one to cut somebody down and stop them from an opportunity. How about this? I'm not going to talk to him. And then you see that about something. Something worth it.
Okay, are we talking about a triple threat between Sean Legacy, Javon, and Ashanti, or just a one-on-one between Javon and Ashanti? I don't know which one of those is happening, but basically it looks like it seems like Ricky Saint's next challenger will come from that direction. But yeah, I'd love to see Ricky and Javon go at it. This Legacy dude seems good too, and I like the take they have from Javon in that promo that Javon was putting over indie talent, which is not something I'm accustomed to seeing on WWE television. You had Ashanti being the sort of stereotype of like, this is NXT. What you worried about indie wrestlers for? And Javon's just saying, like, I don't forget where I came from. There's some dogs on the indie scene, man. I want to take on the best that the world has to offer. So, Sophie, I did see Ricochet's comment that WWE ruined his love of wrestling. I don't believe that for a second. I think a lot of AEW guys just trash on WWE because it makes Tony happier. I think they would change their tune if they had a chance to come back. I mean, maybe not all of them, but I think a lot of them who do. I don't believe it. Pretty Richie, dude, you and me been watching wrestling too long, dog. It's so wild. Whenever I see three people in one room in WWE, I automatically go triple threat match. This is so true, though. You know, there needs to be like a whole meme list or whatever of how pro wrestling makes you look at the world, for real. Because like, I see like production crates sitting around somewhere. I'm watching my back, make sure I don't get jumped and all this stuff. Whenever you see folding chairs, I mean, even as a kid seeing chairs, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, the toxic thoughts start to come in if you see a handful of thumbtacks, whatever, all that kind of stuff. So, no, I totally feel you on that. Also, I climb ladders really slowly as a result, which was funny when we did Stand and Deliver. Mrs. Marked by Wrestling bemoaned that a lot to me of like hating how slow the women climb the ladder. That's the one wrestling trope she can't stand is how slow people climb ladders. All right, everybody. It's time for a thought exercise from your mod father, Teflon Don. Which one would you rather do, Steven? Get thrown from the top of the cell like Mankind or take 10 suplexes from Brock? Woo! All right. Clarifying questions. Number one, if I'm getting thrown off the cell like Mankind, I'm assuming that I'm going through an announce table on the way down too, or how else is it happening? And the 10 suplexes, I assume they're in a row. Are they of German variety, or does he mix it up? Does he give me some overheads, stuff like that? I'm considering getting thrown off the cell because depending on what kind of suplexes they are, knowing they're coming from Brock, something could go wrong 10 times instead of something going wrong once. But I don't know, man. Those are terrible. Those are both terrible. I would have to know for sure. I might chicken out and take the suplexes. That's a big jump. They're all German suplexes. Yeah, if I knew how to take the bump, I might take the 10 suplexes as long as I'm not getting dropped on my head. Yeah. That's tough call though. The correct answer is neither, of course, but still, man, that's brutal stuff for sure. Good question though. Absolutely. Good question there. Mod Father. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we're coming up a couple of weeks from throw Diglets off the cell. No, come on, man. We've got, let's see, 2 weeks till the weekend of both Saturday night's main event and then Sunday Battleground. So should be a lot of fun there. So we'll see where we go from there. Playing music in the arena, but I don't know if this is just B-roll or yeah, I don't think anything's happening. Yeah.
Let's go back to earlier tonight's.
Oh yeah, they're showing the video from earlier of Stax threatening to have located Rizzo in witness protection or hiding and coming after her. And now we're back in the SUV with Tony D'Angelo. He's got a stink inside that car, man. Bro just wrestled a match and then you're all cooped up in that SUV. Oh. Stax was waiting. Took his knee out.
You're not the only one getting stroke. My choice. I finished the time to the D'Angelo family once and for all.
Okay. So Stax is going to finish the D'Angelo family, he says. All right, Thea Hale is here. Here comes Tatum Paxley. All right, Tatum Paxley versus Thea Hale. Who do you guys got? Yeah, NXT is its own universe for sure. I mean, there's the mythos behind the parking lot. There is the whole mob movie going on. Then we got whatever is happening here with Tatum Paxley. Although I really appreciate them taking time for Tatum Paxley to acknowledge kind of the psychosis of losing both of her partners. They didn't say the word releases on the show tonight, but she's like, everybody's gone. And she was fired up about that. I do think Tatum has an interesting beef with Thea because Thea just came back, and then we have lost Gigi Dolan and Shotzi. So if you're crazy like Tatum, you see Thea and be like, you just came back and took a spot and it kicked out my friends. So I'm taking this out on you, which is honestly some pretty fun, subtle storytelling. Hopefully not too insensitive. Man. And Tatum Paxley, by the way, don't let the goth girl fool you. She can go in the ring. She's gotten her moves and stuff have really evolved over the last little bit. But she's so into the character, you don't actually see it happening really until it all, goes out. Jada Parker is watching this match. Hello, Miss Parker. Yeah, she can work pretty, Richie. I agree. Man, kick to the face by Tatum. Oh, wow. Somersault leg drop to the back of the head, or to the back of Thea Hale. Hey, B is in the house. Welcome. Welcome. And forgive the lack of strength in my voice. That move was crazy. Tatum came right off the ropes, stand and flip right into kind of like an axe kick, but Thea Hale was on all fours, man. That was brutal. If you are just joining us tonight, just some recaps. Miles Bourne has solidified his number one contendership. He defended it in a match against Ethan Page tonight. Charlie Dempsey just got rocked by Obafemi. No big surprise there. And Stax Lorenzo, after Tony D'Angelo lost to Wesley, was attacked, lured out to a site by Stax and attacked by Stax, who was in hiding. Oh, bit of a face buster there by Tatum. Oh, I'm trying. My throat feels kind of shredded, to be honest. But I'm gonna just try to rest my voice the rest of the week because I've got some preaching to do on Sunday. So I'm gonna have to definitely rest my voice after tonight. So we'll see what comes of it all. But yeah, how are A and B doing tonight? Hope you guys are doing well. Also, nice move there by Thea. She looks like she's trying to. Yeah, she's got that Kimura lock in right in the middle of the ring. What's she doing? Tatum looks like she's. Oh my gosh, she's trying to stick her thumb in the eye. Wait, what? What happened? Oh, wow. They disqualified Tatum Paxley for going for the eyes. Oh, she's still doing it. She's trying to take her eye. Dude, Tatum trying to take that eye. We got a marked moment tonight. I'm telling you this right now. Oh, you want to do better than referees, guys. Come on. She is just pulling away at Thea. She's trying to get back at her. Oh my gosh. She almost called Thea Captain Save-A-Ho.
Next week, and when I beat you, I get a shot at Soul's North American title.
Okay, well, we got the contract signing coming up. Uh-oh. What am I doing? Sorry, give me a second, guys. Okay, so the season finale of LFG, 2 NXT contracts coming out. It looks like Tyra May, the Olympian woman. She's gotta have that thing locked down. I saw her from the very first episode and was like, oh, she's gonna be on the main roster one day. Thanks, B. I appreciate the offer. For sure. Well, so I guess we get a rematch of Zarya and Kalani Jordan. Well, no, was it a rematch? No, we get Zarya and Kalani Jordan next week. And if Kalani Jordan wins, she will get a North American title match against Sol Ruka at Battleground. But yeah, it looks like Miss Parker is definitely starting to kind of be adjacent to the Thea Hale Tatum story. But man, that Tatum Paxley finish, that DQ was awesome. It was different. It was in line with where Tatum's at right now because she was crashing out hard at the beginning of the show, missing Gigi and Shotzi while they weren't said by name. It was very clear that she was grieving the releases of her best friends. And that has like sent her spiraling. So, great finish to that match. That might have been match of the night so far, to be honest, just with the way that finish went, for sure. Let's see. You know, Sophie, I still don't understand people who leave the movie theater as soon as the movie is over for Marvel movies, at least. I know, typical movies, so it just is what it is. I don't understand why people do that, though. I'm always Googling that stuff if I'm not sure while I'm sitting in my seat. And if Google tells me there's a scene, then I'm going to sit there and wait until the lights come all the way up. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Dark State has not shown up tonight. We have not seen them at all. And we still have a tag match to come with the ladies, Stephanie and Jordan versus Fatal Influence, minus Jasmine Nix. But yeah, Dark State, we have not seen them at all tonight. Now we do have Trick Williams and Joe Hendry's contract signing. That's really the only thing left in the men's division that is being shown, that has been announced. So I don't know what'll happen there. George, I'm really glad your mom's funeral was great. I'm glad that was a good experience for you. Those things are always hard. I know you guys, if you follow the A&B Wrestling podcast, you might hear me plug my Instagram and my TikTok, which is movie based. I don't talk about wrestling on those formats, but it's called Screened, Streamed, and Shelved. And actually, I just made a review this weekend in honor of Mother's Day, in honor of my mom, who passed away a couple of years ago, and just did a review of one of her favorite movies, Steel Magnolias from the late 80s. But a great film, by the way. Never thought I'd be talking about Steel Magnolias during NXT. It's a little weird, but hey, so is my life. Anyway, we are coming back as all right, so they're announcing Night of Champions again, for Saudi Arabia. Huh. So SmackDown will also be in Saudi Arabia that weekend as well. Thank you, Sean. And Let's see. All right. Tony versus Stacks at Battlegrounds. But no stipulations. I'm surprised it's not a stipulation match. And the TNA Championship on the line as well. Joe Hendry versus Trick Williams. It's going to be an exciting time. Okay. Now they're going to cut to the contract signing. It's being done pre-recorded, though.
A brand that just celebrated 23 years. And a title that's been held by the likes of AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, LA Knight, and Bubba Ray Dudley. It all happened.
This team self took my opportunity when it was take what means most to you. That's the TNA. Should have stayed in the suite. It was getting me flowers, or you was the man at TNA. Next Sunday, we're going Battleground. That's my house. Taking risks. Having the confidence to do more, to be more. It's you. Somewhere along the way,
Trick basically said you should have stayed in your lane.
There, who did what? The critic is right outside that door. Do not.
Ava, why is security outside your door? Why aren't they present inside the room? Come on, Ava. Joe Hendry putting over TNA.
Understand that next Sunday, TNA World Championship will be the one on WWE. Understand how big that is? Of course, I know, Joe, because I'm in the match. This match will be historic. And it's something you need to realize.
They're both putting over how historic the match is, but for different reasons.
I'm bigger than TNA, and I'm bigger than both of them combined. And I'm Hollywood. So I tear you down, but mess with what you believe. Because the truth is, every man has his 15 minutes a day. Set your rules. Next Sunday, take your break. Take your time. I'll take your break.
That is the flimsiest looking contract I've ever seen in my life. There's a reason they don't show the actual contract itself, because it's so just like 15 words on a piece of paper.
There's no pathway for you back to the NXT championship after I beat you for this. The TNA World Title.
Joe Hendry spitting some facts on Trick Williams. It's like, you don't win this match, you can kiss the TNA title and the NXT title goodbye. You got nowhere to go. Here's a question. While I really love the potential of there being chaos and Trick winning the TNA title, if Trick loses, what is the likelihood he gets called up? That's just a question. I don't know where I'd put him, but he signed it Trick Willie. Because of course he did. Well, this is definitely the most interesting match for me on the card, because I think there's such potential there for Trick Williams, one way or the other. And so I really do hope that this partnership between WWE, or mainly NXT and TNA, results in one roster member holding one of the other roster's titles. And the world title would be just absolutely wild for them to do as an option. But yeah, I could see this. I mean, Joe Hendry said he was at a crossroads, and I could believe that, of him being at a crossroads there for that. So that's could be a very real thing. We may see what happens there. So yeah, it'll be an intriguing opportunity for sure. Well, how's everybody enjoying the show so far? You think Ethan as well, if he loses? Three Diglets is in the house. Welcome, Three Diglets. Glad you could be here this evening. And while we're waiting through this commercial break, just a reminder, guys, we are still climbing that ladder as slow as a ladder match to Super Chat status. There are a lot of hours to accumulate in order to be fully verified and monetized on YouTube these days. So we're just climbing that hill as much as we can. But in the meantime, if you want to support the channel, you can do so below at the referenced points there. And the show continues as we go. All right, Dig. Clanging and banging, wheeling and dealing. Okay. Limousine riding, jet flying. Good to see you, man. Yeah, so we're going to have, we still got, I think our main event tonight will be the ladies of Fatal Influence. Three Diglets, I think you'll enjoy this with your contempt for Fatal Influence. They're taking on the tag team of Stephanie Vicaire and Jordan Grace. So you may enjoy that. Stephanie came out tonight too. Listen, Stephanie came out tonight channeling her inner Attitude Era diva in her outfit. That's all I'll say. It was provocative for Stephanie, I think. I mean, I may be behaving a bit mildly about this, but it is what it is. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna have some interesting stuff next week as well. More matchups to come as always. And then we've got Battleground and Saturday night's main event that same weekend. So it's going to be quite a weekend of action. Also, my wedding anniversary that week. So the Mr. and Mrs. Mark by Wrestling will be celebrating that weekend. So I'll try to pop in every now and then to say hi to people, but man's got to take care of his lady. So I'm going to be doing that weekend as well. But also, not too far after that, though, we've got Worlds Collide, and we've got what's that stupid show called? Money in the Bank. There's so many shows. I'm honestly, we've got no build for Worlds Collide, but I'm interested to see it happen. Oh, Briggs is here. Hank and Tank coming to say hi. Inamura left for Japan last week. Guys, they have T-shirts that say Honk Honk Fight Club.
I just wish I didn't push him away. Whatever you do, you don't appreciate what you have until it's gone.
Oh, Sean Spears here to pour salt in the wound of Briggs. Seriously, Pretty Richie. Rick Steiner was doing that in 1990, dude. He was wearing the U.S. tag titles around his neck, all kinds of stuff. So, like, it was crazy. Yeah.
You texted me like 50 times separately. So what's going on?
Chase U is here.
Hear that? Look at what he's trying to say. We don't care who our opponents are, where they're from, what they do, what we're trying to do. But in case you don't see that,
Okay, they're demanding a match.
I think you guys are ready. Next week you can have your debut match.
Okay, the pledges from Chase U. The Chase U tracksuit.
I'm returning up to you.
All right. Well, they've got OTM. Wait, what? Joe Hendry live in concert next week? And Trick is rapping? I'm sorry, what? This just came out of nowhere. Next week we're getting a Joe Hendry concert and a Trick concert next Tuesday. That is wild. Also, we get Kalani Jordan versus Zarya next week too. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, 3 Diglets. The triple threat match. Okay, it is a triple threat. We're pretty Richie. Where are you, dude? Where are you? Sure, 3 dudes in a room, triple threat. Holla holla. Ashanti, Javon, and Sean Legacy is his name. The guy from Evolved, who can go, by the way. He and Javon had an amazing sequence in that battle royal last week. So that is going to be a sleeper match. But it's going to be what it is. That woke me up real good. Wearing belts around the neck. 3 Diggles. Bubba Ray was your earliest memory. Respect. Yeah, I was trying to find a picture. In like 89 or 90, the Steiner brothers were the U.S. tag team champions in the NWA/WCW. And they would come out to the ring, and Rick, it was always Rick doing something weird. He wore the belt backwards one time too, like Cena does now. He wore the belt around his neck like these guys do. Anyway, Trick though, yeah, Trick's gonna rap. Apparently, I didn't know Trick could rap. I mean, he always sounded like he kind of has some flow when he cuts a promo, but like that's cutting a promo. So will Elias Rickardy, good thing here. Just Trick play. Will Elias accompany Joe Hendry? That would be so much fun if we got Elijah back. Okay, here comes La Primera out to join her partner for the night, Jordan Grace. Who do you guys got in the comments? Can they coexist? We always have to play that game in the lead up to a PLE title match. But I got to tell you, man, I hope Stephanie and Jordan beat the brakes off of Fatal Influence. No disrespect to these. Jasmine Nix is nowhere to be seen, so we can forget about her. But Fallon and who's the other one? JC are giving me Lay Cool vibes, but not in a good way. Like it just feels like reheated, microwaved early 2010s diva behavior. And it's no disrespect to them. I'm sure they're getting produced that way to a degree. But yeah, it ain't for me. All right. La Primera chance, man, dude, she has gotten over so far so fast. I wonder how long HBK will be able to keep her in NXT. Not that he's going to be trying to hold her back in any way, I don't think. But yeah. I mean, yeah. All right. Pretty Richie. They about to dog walk. They are said Pretty Richie. Yeah, I mean. Oh man. Love it. Love it. Jacob Fatu seems like an incredible human being, by the way. I'm seeing more and more interviews from him, like off camera, so to speak, out of kayfabe, and he just seems like a good dude. Okay. Three Diglets with a good point here. I think she should stay. Okay, springboard crossbody. And Steph's getting she's getting the gears going. You think she should stay in NXT for as long as she can? I'm inclined to agree with you. I don't know that she particularly needs it for her development, but one thing I do think is that NXT and their women's division could use another Asuka, another Shayna Baszler, another long-term dominant champion, and she 100% could be that woman for this next phase, especially now that they have the flexibility of a women's mid-card title. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Booker T about to go off, Dawsey. You know it. You know this, man. Oh, my gosh. I want to tell you guys something. So, do any of you watch the YouTube show Pop the Balloon or Find Love? I can't believe I'm putting myself out here by admitting to this, but I need to know if any of you have watched it. Set a bar for others to reach. Yes, Rickety. Okay, victory roll. Nope, just a 2 count. But the Pop the Balloon show. So here's the thing. I don't watch it like every new episode when it comes out, but we were trying to explain the concept to my kids one day, right? Who are all, by the way, all my kids are either adults or teenagers. So you don't judge me as a parent. So we were showing them, and now they like got addicted to it. So we watch it every once in a while. And I don't know when this episode took place, but all of my NXT brethren and sistren here tonight will appreciate there was a woman, one of the balloon holders, named Mrs. Her first name was Mrs. She was named Mrs. Her last name was Parker. Her name was Mrs. Parker. And I didn't say it out loud in front of my kids, but I was like, I know dang well her parents were watching Friday when she was born. The woman's name was Miss Parker. Her government name was Miss Parker. Not polite salutations or titles. Actual name. She's like, yeah, you can call me Mrs. My name's Mrs. Parker. You can call me Mrs. And I'm like, stop it, dude. Stop it. Stop playing. Nevertheless, she didn't have nothing on Jada either, by the way. Just so we're clear about that. Jada is my favorite Miss Parker. Okay. Fatal Influence is doing the man. I can't tell. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about Fatal Influence, man. Diglets, I know how you feel about Mandy too. And like, listen, they're talented. They're talented athletes, but character-wise, I just don't feel it with them. And I think part of me now is a little bitter that like they're still here and Gigi's gone. Like Gigi was my favorite one out of Toxic Attraction, including Mandy. And then Mandy's whole trying to act like she was the first double champion, not understanding what a double champion was, and trying to besmirch the name of La Primera, probably just to drive traffic to her own content, as so many people are wont to do these days. But yeah, man, no, not for me, not for me. Fallon Henley wasn't bad when she was with Briggs and Jensen, I guess, but yeah, JC Jane should have been part of this budget cut. Man, I will say there are other women I would rather still be here than her, but she's been around for a while too. She's been here for a while. But both ladies from Fatal Influence, I could see them floundering on the main rosters. They probably need to be in NXT longer. Right. Yes. She blamed it on semantics. Like, no, it's not semantics. There is a difference between being a unified champion and being a double champion. In 1990, it's history time again, ladies and gentlemen, when this crazy man defeated this crazy man at WrestleMania 6. He walked into that match as the Intercontinental Champion. He walked into the match as the WWF Champion. Double champion. He held both belts. Now, he did relinquish the Intercontinental title, which was then won in a tournament by this man, Mr. Perfect. However, Mr. Perfect, you know what? I actually have I just looked over at my figures. I think I have enough figures to go like 3 layers down into the title history of the Intercontinental title. That's either awesome or it's a problem. I don't know. But nevertheless, being a unified champion is when is when one title ceases to be a title after you win that match. And being a double champion is when both belts still exist after that match is over, regardless of what happens with them. And Mandy, for those of you who are new to this conversation and this rant, defended the NXT Women's Championship and won the NXT UK Women's Championship. But the NXT UK Women's Championship was retired after that match, so it was unified. But what Stephanie Vicaire did was defeat Julia for the NXT title while she was North American champion. Both of those belts still exist. She was a double champion and even proved it by defending both titles in the same night, which was bomb. Yes, the IC title was the workers' title. That is my favorite WWF designed title of all the titles. So I was salty when they changed the look of the new Intercontinental title or to the new Intercontinental title, but it is what it is. Steph with a kick to the face. All right. Well, JC Jane is hurting. Stephanie Vicaire making her way back up to her feet. Crowd is trying to rally behind her here. Yeah, from Randy Savage all the way to, I would say all the way to like Benoit and Eddie and Kurt Angle, more often than not was a workers' title. There were a few bumps in the road there. There was an occasional honky tonk man in there, but more often than not, great workers holding the Intercontinental title. Why it was one of my favorites for so long. Sean, you and I are in agreement. Pretty Richie, I love trivia. Let's read this. This is random, but I went back and watched some old WCW from the Vault channel on YouTube. Okay, great choice, by the way, guys. Visiting that Vault channel is a great way to get into some fun wrestling history. And I didn't know DDP held the WCW 3 times for a total of 2 weeks. Yeah, he did not hold it for very long. I really only remember his first win because the wildest thing about DDP's first title win, it was Spring Stampede, I want to say 99. He won it in a fatal 4-way match against these people. Himself, obviously, Sting, Ric Flair, and Hollywood Hogan. Flair, Hogan, and Sting, and DDP. No disrespect whatsoever, but one of these things is not like the other. And Randy Savage, Macho Man Randy Savage, was the special referee for that match. I still remember being at my friend's house watching that show and being shocked that DDP came out with that title. I was rooting for either Flair or Sting in that match. Oh man. We've got a JC Jane super kick, one woman super kick party here going on. And they are telling the story right now of Fatal Influence having more team chemistry. Oh, no. Jordan Grace did the Johnny Gargano. Oh, she did the Johnny Gargano. Pushed Vicaire out of the way and took the knee to the face. I remember him doing that to Ciampa when they were fighting AOP, another team that was huge in NXT. Yes, Pretty Richie. DDP. I remember that night too of Nitro. I was so mad that Sting dropped the title again. They really did Sting dirty in his crow phase, I gotta say. He could have been finisher from Jordan. That's that. Jordan Grace wins the match for her and Stephanie Vaquer. Handles business. I do remember when Rollins had AOP Diglets, and he had Buddy Murphy with him too for a little while. That's a guy I wouldn't mind see coming back if they could come up with something for him. Oh man. Well, that was a solid tag match, solid main event for tonight. Hit me with your ratings for tonight. Let me know what you thought of NXT. It very much felt like honestly kind of felt like Raw this week. Like it was just a building block, you know? It wasn't bad, but it just felt like a building block. Yeah, I'm not sure that Jordan's winning the title here. Honestly, I think Jordan is far more made to have the North American title next. Main event was 8 out of 10 for you three Diglets. Pretty Richie giving 7 out of 10. George Lewis 8.5. Justin Allegretti 10 out of 10. You normally drop down to the Austin voice to read your message. I can't do that tonight. Sorry, I hope you understand. Anthony 7 out of 10. I do not know if I will be with you guys for Battleground. I promise I am going to be with you for Worlds Collide, and I'll be in the chat for Money in the Bank. But I don't know, with it being my anniversary weekend, I may not be able to pull off Battlegrounds. But if not, I will jump on at some point just to give my thoughts, to give a review, a recap, just so we can still have a place to share our thoughts about it. But yeah, Battleground shaping up to be a fun card, and that Trick Williams and Joe Hendry is the one I am looking forward to the most that weekend. So curious to see where we get with that. So we'll see what happens. There Jordan presenting the title to Stephanie, but they didn't even do the tug of war. Okay, and Jordan raises her hand. It's sportswomanship as we close the show, and we are literally ending NXT the same way we ended Raw, with the challenger looking at the women's title. This is literally what Rhea Ripley did last night to Io Sky. They said something's happened in the locker room. Hold on. Is Dark State here now? Oh, Ethan Page has attacked Ricky Saints. Huh. They're calling for a medic. Okay. That is interesting to do that at the end of the show in the main event segment, because that makes me curious if, I don't know, man. I know they're not done yet, but they're going to do a rematch already from the last show. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because we've also got that triple threat, because 3 dudes were hanging out together in a room. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I love getting to do this with you each and every week. Let me know what you guys. Thank you guys for letting me know about the show tonight. I'll have my poll up later tonight to ask you what your marked moment was. Can't wait to hear from you guys on that. Pretty Richie, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate the compliments, and man, I know I've got work to do. I'm going to try to bring up some more videos once my voice gets back to 100%, and bring in some more content, get it, interact with you guys some more, so we can create a third brand here and get our own super chat title here to get you guys going for it. So, anyways, we got to throw the mission statement back on the screen just to remember. To be a mark means you believe, and believing makes wrestling better. And don't fall into the hate traps, friends. There's hate traps everywhere telling you should hate this wrestler, this story, that story, this show, that show, this booker, that booker. Don't worry about none of that. Have a great time. Find joy in wrestling because there's a whole lot to be found right now. I will most definitely see you guys next week for NXT. And I should, if I'm thinking correctly, I should also be in the chat during SmackDown as well. So I'll try to stop by and say hi to you guys there as well. Here we go. Diglets. And thank you for your donation tonight, Diglets. Much appreciated. 4 letters, 1 word. Love it. Well, Rickardy, you can hate them all as long as it doesn't put any hatred in your heart, my friend. We need them. We need to prevent hatred from taking over our hearts. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I will see you guys soon. And keep an eye on the channel. We'll have more stuff on the way. And I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to believe. And I'll see you next week.